Out of all the games in this beautiful world of ours, Kult with a K is one that gets brought up quite a bit. Its most recent edition is from 2018 and is a PBTA game, so we are not going to be going over that one today. We're instead going to be going over 1E, which is technically 3rd edition, as 1, 2, and 3 are reprints and updates to the game itself. Before we get to the meat of things, I kind of want to muse about who owns Kult. Kult was published in 2001 through 2004 by Paradox Entertainment, a Swedish company. If that name sounds a little familiar, it's because it was built from Target Games, who made a lot of Swedish TTRPGs from Drakar och Demonor to Mutant. Paradox Entertainment allowed their Stockholm branch to spin off into Paradox Interactive in 2004 when Entertainment moved to LA. Now things are going to get a little bit weird. Paradox isn't a traditional company. They don't make things. Instead, they're a big IP company, and they're owned a lot of franchises. Kull, Solomon Kane, Mutant, and even Conan the Barbarian, as well as Kult. But in 2015, Fredrik Malberg, who is the CEO of Paradox Entertainment, bought the entire company through his other company, Cabinet Entertainment, which then led to the 2021 acquisition of Cabinet Entertainment and its franchises by another company, which was Funcom, which in February of 2020 was actually bought by Tencent. Kult is technically owned by Tencent in a horrifying cycle of ownership, which is a little bit confusing, but what is Kult actually? In short, the demiurge has enslaved reality again, and Judeo-Christian God, the Big G himself, left. All of the angels and the devils and other nasties of the world are lost and now what to do, as the entire foundation of existence decided to peace out on a summer holiday. Now the world is collapsing as Satan searches for God and reality is kinda screwed. What the game is actually can best kind of be described as D20 BRP. Scared? Don't be. Anytime you need to make a skill throw, take 1 D20 and attempt to roll under your attribute or skill. The better you roll, the more degrees of success or failure you'll end up with. But it's the early 2000s and our backstreet jorts need something else to get going, so let's make a basic character. We're going to roll for our 8 attributes. These may seem balanced, but I want you to remember we're living in Stirner's heaven. Ego does a lot compared to everything else, and with 2d10 for our random stat, having the best ego makes us go farther than if we let the spooks in. But combat agility covers everything else. The optimal cultist is a dex build egoist who ignores the strength spook. After we determine our attributes, we'll need our dark secret, the haunting reality of why we're drawn to the otherworldly powers. It doesn't usually do anything though, nor do the archetypes in the book, which they try to make you believe it does something. The book is actually laid out pretty strangely on that front, but advantages and disadvantages play an important part in defining us and our abilities. There is no limit technically. You can have a bunch of advantages, disadvantages, it doesn't matter, because you get a random numbers of advantages and disadvantages if you use simplified creation, and about half of them don't actually do anything outside of a narrative sense, which is important, just weird when one does do something, or you select ultra haunting CBT Dante must die mode. These affect your mental balance. If it's negative, then evil's haunting you a bit. If you're positive, you're reaching toward the light and as a good person. If you hit certain milestones in either, you begin radiating a strong aura or weak aura. Skills are a little odd. The game says you're going to have 100 points sometimes, 150 points some other times, and even upwards of 250 points at random points throughout the book, but in total a 100 is a normal Joe, while the game recommends a solid 150. Or you can do the simplified method, which gives you a splattering of points, with 2 18s, 2 15s, and 8 10s to distribute among any of your skills. And most of these skills are robust, to say the least. Pictorial arts, estimating value, parachuting, and scuba diving are all, of course, important to pick up, because in this game set in the city, about the city, in an urban environment, my seamanship may be the only thing keeping me alive. Of course, there are also martial arts, which lets you tap into your chi and perform sick aerial tiger paw maneuvers, because Kult is secretly part of the Dragon Ball Z universe, which also bleeds into the training montages to prove yourself, and this comparison is redoubled by the inclusion of hero points, which lets you improve effects and mitigate problems. And that's character really, ignoring all the supernatural stuff you can play using the same system. But combat is really where the meat of the game is, and it's fucking deadly. Every character has a set number of wounds, and scratch, light, severe, or fatal. Whenever you take too much damage in a particular hit location, you're actually going to increase it up. So you're going to increase scratches to light to severe and finally fatal. If you take a fatal wound, you're dead. So what do weapons do exactly? You're going to roll a d20, compare it to the chart of the weapon, and you'll usually have about a 25% chance to automatically gat someone, killing them immediately. There is magic, of course, which operates off some very basic principles as you can see right here, but it's also occult agnostic magic with an extra side of what the fuck. Is Kult 123E bad as people say? Sorta. It's a messy game that has either had a botched English translation or was always kind of poorly constructed mess of ideas and concepts. But there are supplements and things do get a little bit more explained and insane due to the meta plot. Is it interesting though? Yes. Well, welcome to the death throes of the Swedish TTRPG scene as it spasmed its last few convulsions before getting passed around and now being owned by our glorious Chinese overlords. My name is Notepad and this was Kult. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the Cult of the Gilded Eye for continuing to fund my descents into the dreaming lands. Godspeed and good luck.